Live from Chicago's #1 news, ABC7 Eyewitness News at 7 starts streaming now.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Val Warner.
And I'm Tanya Babich in for Terrell on this 11th day of October. Still to come, back to school, a major milestone for a Highland Park boy who was gravely injured in the 4th of July parade shooting.
Can't wait to get the update on young Cooper. But first, outside we go this morning. Beautiful sunrise and start to the day. Tracy, what are we in store for today?
Not a beautiful sunset expected around here today. And in fact, I want you to see what's coming our way. So you see this rain that is earmarked for Chicago as we go into the afternoon. Right now, 48 degrees in Aurora, 58 currently Kankakee, 55 Rensselaer, 50 in Waukegan, 52 degrees in Woodstock, and 55 right now in Michigan City. Today, our rain chances increase, the clouds will increase, and the wind speeds are going to increase here today as well. So we are looking at some showery conditions, and at times could even be some heavier rain during that afternoon evening rush. I think we'll have periods of rain into tomorrow morning and afternoon, and it will still be a windy morning tomorrow. What kind of morning is it on the roads? I know it's been busy. Roz?
A challenging one and a very slow one. We start in northwest Indiana, where crews continue to clean up from yesterday's semi-fire. Northbound 65 before Ridge still have 2 lanes closed. Solid backup, 6 miles. It starts before US 30. Then on the Illinois side, your average travel time is going to be about 50 minutes heading in on most of the inbound expressways. This stalled semi northbound 55 at Lamont has things all jammed up from Weber Road. And then, of course, the crash on I-88, the Reagan Tollway on the westbound side. Take a look at our camera near Naperville Road. We can still see those massive delays, and we've got a Gapers delay on the eastbound side as well. Tanya and Val.
All right, Ross, thank you. This morning, a possible suspect has been found in the sex assault of an 11-year-old girl on Chicago's South Side.
That's what a community activist is saying this morning. Jessica D'Onofrio is live at CPD headquarters with more from police. Jessica.
Well, the child's mother and grandmother are expected to speak at a news conference here this morning. They are calling on police to file charges against a possible suspect who dragged an 11-year-old girl into an alley last week in the Washington Park neighborhood and sexually assaulted her as she walked home from school. A community activist tells Eyewitness News the possible suspect was spotted by a community member and held until police arrived. According to activists, the victim's grandmother received a photo of the possible suspect and showed it to the girl, who recognized him as her attacker. Now, in recent days, activists have been asking how the attack could have ever happened in the first place.
That's a block and a half which safe passage workers should have been able to see her if they was out there doing what they were paid to do.
Chicago police released a composite sketch of a man on Saturday. However, this morning, police say no one is in custody, and this remains an ongoing investigation. So again, activists claim that someone has been found, and the news conference this morning at 9 a.m. will be centered around urging police to file some sort of charges. Back to you.
Jessica, thank you. Meantime, charges have now been filed in the murder of a security guard in the Loop. That happened over the weekend.
And that suspect will face a judge today as Chicago's top cop addresses crime in the city. Diane Pathu is live in the Loop with the details of this. Diane.
Val and Tanya, Superintendent David Brown is planning on holding a press conference later on this morning discussing crime across Chicago. This is at least 29 people have been shot over the long holiday weekend. 2 of those people were killed. Police announced first-degree murder charges as well, filed against 23-year-old Devontrell Turnipseed last night after a deadly shooting here where we're standing in the 400 block of South Wells. Chicago police say they shot and killed a man early on Sunday morning outside of a popular venue here. The owner of this location tells us the suspect and victim were both security guards with an outside company, and a fight led to that shooting. Superintendent Brown has recently touted a decrease in crime numbers, and we'll talk about recent public safety efforts this morning. That press conference set to take place at 11:30 at police headquarters. Back to you.
All right, Diane, thank you. Evanston's first female police chief begins her first full day on the job this morning. Shanita Stewart was sworn in last night in front of a packed house at a meeting of the Evanston City Council. Stewart, who most recently served as the deputy chief of police for East Dundee, brings 15 years of police leadership to the job.
You know, dealing with staffing, dealing with morale, and dealing with the partnership with the community, which is the most important, and getting back to building that partnership and building the trust back with the community.
Right now, I am over the moon. We have come a long way.
Stewart is an Evanston native and a graduate of Evanston High School. I'll be talking live with Chief Stewart coming up at 7:45 this morning.
Now an update on a story that was breaking last night at 10 o'clock. Some sort of explosion may be to blame for this house fire in north suburban Libertyville. The fire chief on the scene says a garage wall was blown out last night and the house itself was destroyed. There was nobody home at the time and there are no reported injuries.
Now to an Eyewitness News exclusive. A postal worker is speaking out after being robbed while on the job in Humboldt Park on Saturday. She says armed men demanded her master key, which opens cluster mailboxes assessed and assigned to a zip code. The woman is in fear of her safety now and asks that we conceal her identity.
2 guys jumped out of a vehicle and said, "Give me those keys." I have to feel secure to do my job.
She was not hurt, and police say at least 5 carriers have been robbed for their keys since August. 2 other carriers were robbed in Evanston. Turning to the war in Ukraine this morning, there's a new fallout from that barrage of Russian missiles launched at several Ukrainian cities yesterday.
Moscow says the attack was revenge for the destruction of a key bridge connecting Russia to Crimea, but many of the missiles struck civilian targets. ABC's Jay O'Brien is live in Washington with the latest. Jay.
Tanya and Val, we're getting a new death toll from those missile attacks yesterday. At least 19 people are confirmed dead now, more than 100 wounded after that bombardment from Russian missiles into Ukraine. A senior U.S. military official says that the strike was horrific and that it appears Russia targeted civilians.
This morning, U.S. officials condemning the barrage of Russian missiles which struck several cities across Ukraine Monday in one of Moscow's largest attacks in months. Missiles hitting at the heart of the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, one striking near a children's playground. This woman reacting in horror. Others fleeing to bomb shelters, shell-shocked.
So scary, you know, you can drive to work and boom, and you're gone.
The attacks also knocking out parts of Ukraine's power grid, leaving major cities in the dark. The country's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, defiant, telling his people Ukraine cannot be intimidated. President Biden calling the attacks senseless and reaching out to Zelensky yesterday to reiterate U.S. support for Ukraine's defense against Russia, including a pledge to supply Ukraine with advanced air defense systems. Vladimir Putin saying he personally authorized the strikes in retaliation for the destruction of a key bridge connecting Russia to the Crimean Peninsula, which the Kremlin has labeled a terrorist attack. But Putin also under intense pressure after a successful counteroffensive by Ukrainian troops, leading to concerns the Kremlin could escalate this conflict even further.
He needs to find an off-ramp. He's losing on the battlefield. He's probably running out of cruise missiles to lob into Ukraine. So he needs a way out.
Now happening right now, there is an emergency virtual meeting of members of the G7. President Biden is participating in that. A senior administration official says they will likely discuss aid for Ukraine and continued punishment for Russia. Tanya and Val.
All right, Jay, thank you. Back here at home, protesters gathered in downtown Chicago calling for more American involvement in the war in Ukraine. This event in Chicago was one of several taking place across the country on Monday.
More witness testimony is expected today against Darrell Brooks, the man accused of driving through a crowd and killing 6 people at last year's Christmas parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Brooks is representing himself in court, and yesterday he apologized for being disruptive during last week's proceedings.
Just wanted everybody to know that I apologize for my actions. I'm going to try my best to, whatever happens, to conduct myself with respect.
Yesterday, the jury heard testimony from the first person who was hit and injured at that parade.
8-year-old Cooper Roberts has returned to school 3 months after he was seriously wounded during the parade tragedy in Highland Park. Cooper's parents shared this photo of his first day of 3rd grade with his twin brother Luke by his side. They also shared a moving and emotional update, saying in part, We cried in the parking lot as he wheeled himself into the school, cried as we pulled out of the parking lot, and we were just a mess. He loved every minute, and his exact words were, "If I had not been shot, paralyzed, and had to be in a wheelchair, it would have been a perfect school day. But it was a really great day. I loved it." Cooper's family says his transition back to school full-time will be gradual because he is still in therapy.
Your live and local news is just getting started as we stream out loud this morning. Still ahead, your Cook County property tax bill delayed. What does this mean for you, and when will you have to pay? Consumer investigator Jason Knowles and the I-Team have a warning that could affect your budget.
But first, Tracy has your Accuweather forecast. More on just how long this little warm-up will last.
Well, good morning to you. Our weather headlines for today are as follows. So we should get our high temperatures into the lower end of the 70s. However, rain is going to start to move in, and as it does, we'll probably see our temperatures falling too. Rain chances increase this afternoon. Some of it could be rather heavy, especially across some of the southern suburbs, and it is going to become increasingly windy around here today. So it is a good time now to secure any of your fabulous Halloween decorations. Now, as we go through the day, here's the wind forecast. You can see these wind gusts start to intensify, and especially if we get any storms in the area later today, overnight tonight, or even tomorrow morning. Looks as though we could have some pretty healthy wind gusts coming our direction. We'll have to let you know if anything like a wind advisory would be issued. Our rain chances, yes, they're elevated for tomorrow as well. Right now, things are pretty quiet around the area, but here's the futurecast. So you can see by the time we get to 2:30, 3 o'clock, that's when we should start to get some rain back into the city. It's fairly widespread, as you can see, and could even contain a couple rumbles of thunder. Overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, more rain and even a few storms. Ross?
We're going to start in the suburbs. We've got a crash in the Volo area. It's southbound on US 12 just before Molitor, and we do have emergency crews on site there, so please be careful driving through. You're going to be sitting in traffic for a long time this morning. The expressways were averaging 55 minutes heading inbound. We've had some outbound crashes. We've had a couple of things happen on I-88. We had a crash, multi-vehicle, westbound just after Naperville Road. They finally got all of that off on the shoulder, but we still have a significant westbound delay. But eastbound Gapers delay and eastbound, a new crash. Chopper 7 is over it. It's about a mile west of the westbound crash. This is eastbound, right around Route 59. There's that one vehicle on the left shoulder. State police are with it. They're waiting for more state police. They're waiting for their tow, and that backup is at least 1 mile, and it's strictly a Gapers delay because all lanes so far are still open. Again, that's eastbound I-88 just past Route 59. Val and Tanya.
All right, thank you so much, Roz. Well, the ABC 7 I-Team this morning with the latest concerns over Cook County property tax bills and the delay in getting them out to homeowners. Consumer investigator Jason Knowles is getting some answers for you.
The second installment bills for Cook County property taxes are usually due by August, but those bills have not even been sent to taxpayers yet. The county says they will go out by the end of the year, but what does that mean for you?
I'm still waiting on my bill. Today is my first day hearing this.
Terencia Caldwell is budgeting for her property taxes. She and other Cook County residents are still waiting for their second installment bills to arrive. They're already about 4 months late.
Where is it? It's not in my hands. It's not in my mailbox. I haven't received it.
The county says second installment bills will come before the end of the year. Then, just a few months later, the first installment of 2023 will be due. This won't impact homeowners who pay taxes as part of their mortgage, but other taxpayers will need to save and juggle their budgets. So what's going on with the delay? The Cook County Assessor's Office, which assesses the amounts due, directed the I-Team to Cook County President Preckwinkle's office. No one there would talk on camera, only saying, "We are working with all the independently elected offices in the property tax system to ensure the tax bills are sent and collected as soon as possible," adding that we remain confident that their commitment to a due date of 2022 before the end of the year will be realized. The Cook County President's office added that it will continue to support government entities which rely on the money so they can fulfill their duties to Cook County residents. Still, some taxpayers wish they had more of a break between bills.
It's kind of hard when you only have one salary, to live off of. It's going to be hard.
We asked the Cook County President's office about payment plan options for residents, a spokesperson only saying people should budget accordingly. Tax experts say if you can, you should pay the second installment by the end of the year so you can claim it on your 2022 federal income taxes and get a bigger refund. Jason Knowles, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
And thank you for that good advice. Still to stream this morning, Macy's flagship store in Chicago is once again sharing some space with a popular toy store just in time for the holidays.
Eyewitness News streaming at 7 continues after a break.
Week 2 of Kevin Spacey's trial is scheduled to get underway today in New York City. Actor and Chicago native Anthony Rapp is suing Spacey, accusing him of assault, battery, and intentionally inflicting emotional distress when Rapp was 14. Rapp filed the lawsuit in 2020 and is seeking compensatory and punitive damages up to $14 million. No criminal charges are involved. Last week, Spacey's lawyer suggested Rapp filed the suit because he is angry about his own stalled career. Prices continue to edge higher at the gas pump. AAA says rising demand and the cost of oil have Illinois and Indiana seeing among the highest weekly price increases in the country. Prices are 21 cents in Indiana, up 21 cents in Indiana over the last week to an average of $4.20 a gallon. In Illinois, the average price jumped even higher by 24 cents this week to $4.40 a gallon. And this morning, a snag in efforts to prevent a railroad strike that could cripple the economy and impact Chicago transit. The third largest railroad union has rejected a deal with freight railroads that includes BNSF and Union Pacific. Metra shares tracks owned by those companies. The union president for track maintenance workers says the railroads didn't do enough to address worker concerns about the lack of paid time off, particularly sick time. Both sides will now return to the bargaining table.
The website for Chicago's airports appears to be back online. Russian-speaking hackers have now claimed responsibility for knocking it offline, along with websites for other airports. The Department of Aviation confirms the Fly Chicago website went offline early Monday. No airport operations were impacted, as the systems targeted do not handle air traffic control or internal airline communications. Airports in New York, Los Angeles, Atlanta, and Des Moines were also hit.
Just in time for the holidays, Macy's State Street is bringing back its Toys R Us in-store shop. It'll be on the department store's 5th floor. To celebrate, Macy's is hosting 9 days of events starting this Saturday. That'll include family-friendly activities and daily giveaways.
Now at 7, the owners of the Hollywood casinos in Aurora and Joliet are moving operations on land. Both sites will be moving from riverboat sites to land near major interstates. The new casino in Aurora will move to near I-88 and Farnsworth Avenue. The casino in Joliet will be built on a site near I-80 and I-55. A completion date on both casinos has not been announced.
A suburban high school radio station was just named Best in the Nation. WLTL Radio at Lyons Township High School in LaGrange earned that honor. These pictures show some of the students who accepted the award at the John Drury High School Radio Awards. The awards are named in honor of our late ABC7 colleague, John Drury.
What an opportunity to be able to be a part of a program like that in high school.
Absolutely.
Not to when you get to college. That's amazing and good for them. Congratulations. Well, right now we are going to join our Good Morning America viewers.
I'm going to have a news update for you on TV in just a little bit. You'll see it here as well.
And then when we come back, the Nobel Prize win with the ties to Chicago. The local professor who is making Chicago proud.
Now, an update from ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Good morning. It's 7:23. I'm Tanya Babich. The family of an 11-year-old girl who was sexually abused walking home from school last week will hold a news conference today outside of CPD headquarters. Community activists are pushing police to file charges against a possible suspect. We're told that person was spotted by a community member and was held until police arrived. Although Chicago police released a sketch of that person over the weekend, at this time, they say nobody is in custody. That news conference is scheduled for 9 a.m. Let's get a check of our ABC7 Accuweather Forecast now. Here's meteorologist Tracy Butler.
Hi there, Tanya. Good morning. Right now we have fairly mild temperatures, 54 degrees at O'Hare, 59 at Midway, and 55 degrees is the number over in Gary. Rain is on the way for us. I think you'll notice more and more rain here this afternoon. It is going to become increasingly more cloudy and more windy too. Our highs today reach the 70s. We'll take a break. Roz after this.
Now's the time for a healthy start. So let's move. Let's rest and recharge. And put our health first. Let's be well. To do that, let's eat well. Breathe deep. Find joy in the little moments. And do what we love with who we love. Together, let's live well. Advocate Aurora Health.
Welcome back, everybody. It is a very slow morning on the expressways. We are looking at average travel times of 50 minutes between the tri-state and downtown. The Kennedy is an hour 10. That's because we have a crash at Ogden. It's in the reversibles, but everybody's staring at it. IDOT's trying to get to it, and that's what's causing that big delay. We've had a lot of other issues, including this one in Northwest Indiana, where we still, on northbound I-65 before Ridge, have a couple lanes closed. This is all cleanup from yesterday afternoon's semi-fire. There was paint that was spilled all over the pavement, and it's taking a while to get that all cleaned up. And then, of course, Chopper 7 is back on the Illinois side. They're over I-88, the Reagan Tollway. This crash eastbound near Route 59 is on the shoulder, but there is about a 5 to 6 mile gapers delay.
Look at that sunrise. Beautiful start to our morning. 53 degrees. We got a chance of some rain coming in a little bit later. Tracy's been watching that and filling us in all morning long, so we'll check in with her in just a bit. Well, yesterday we told you that a University of Chicago professor had won a Nobel Prize in economic science. Now we're hearing from him. Douglas Diamond says it took him a second to realize that his selection was not a prank.
I did know this was the day that they announced the prize, and I thought it was probably legit, but you never know. I have some friends with good sense of humor.
Professor Diamond is sharing the prize with two other economists, including former Federal Reserve Chair Ben Bernanke, and for their research into bank failures and market risk. He must have some real pranksters for friends to think that they can pull something like that off.
Indeed. Still the stream this morning, the fast food chains with the fastest and slowest drive-thrus.
Oh, I need to know that bad because, yeah, we'll talk about it. And we're celebrating the Hispanic culture of one Chicago neighborhood as some worry about its future.
You're watching ABC 7 Eyewitness News at 7, streaming live now.
Let's take a quick look at some of the stories we'll be watching for you today. The family of an 11-year-old who was sexually abused on Chicago's South Side last week plans to speak this morning. A community activist tells Eyewitness News a possible suspect was spotted by a community member and held until police arrived. According to the activist, the victim's grandmother received a photo of the possible suspect and showed it to the girl, who recognized him as her attacker. However, Chicago police say they have nobody in custody.
More witness testimony is expected today against Daryl Brooks, the man accused of driving through a crowd and killing 6 people at last year's Christmas parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Brooks is representing himself in court. Yesterday, he apologized for being disruptive during last week's proceedings. The jury yesterday heard testimony from the first person who was hit and injured at that parade. Court resumes this morning.
The Chicago Sings karaoke competition continues tonight. There are 18 qualifying round events through next Tuesday. The winner gets $5,000. Tonight's competitions are at Reed's Local and Taquizo and Mars Bar. You'll find more information on our website, abc7chicago.com. Good to be with you, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Tanya Babich in for Terrell Brown.
That's right. Good to have you, Tanya. And I'm Val Warner here on the couch. Let's take a live look outside. And Tracy is standing by with your Accuweather Forecast. Beautiful start to the day, but probably won't end as pretty.
No, it's not. We've had a magnificent sunrise, but here's what's coming our way. You see this line of rain? It's on the way. We really could use some rain. We've only had 0.05 of an inch of rain this entire month so far, and it's coming our way for the afternoon commute. 59 right now out at Midway, 54 Valparaiso. It's 48 degrees in DeKalb, 55 right now in Joliet. So rain chances are going to increase here today, as well as more cloud cover. We do have beautiful sunshine out there right now, but it will get more cloudy, and it is going to get very windy around the area today as well. I'll have your 7-day for you in my next report, but Roz, what do you have for us?
We have a lot of bumper-to-bumper traffic. We're looking at travel times anywhere from 50 minutes to an hour 10. That would be the Kennedy because of this crash we had at Ogden. We're also getting word of a new crash northbound on the Tri-State just before St. Charles, so that is very quickly starting to back up. We also had a crash on the Dan Ryan right around 31st, just before the Stevenson, and that's where it really starts to get crowded. So it's going to take you a little bit longer to get where you need to be today. Today is a very special day. It's Sarah's birthday. My daughter, she just turned 27. We celebrated all weekend long, so we went out to dinner, and then yesterday, well, the day before, I took her to see Wicked. And then, you know, if you go backstage by the stage door entrance after the show, you might get lucky and have some folks come out and sign your playbill. That's Lisa Howard. She was Madame Morrible. And we also got an autograph from Jennifer Newberry, who played Glinda. Yeah, that was very exciting. And then I took her shopping yesterday and filled my trunk full of presents. So that was the birthday weekend.
Lucky young lady.
Look at that. I love it. Happy birthday to Sarah, who was also a Windy City Live intern. Look at that. I'm proud. Listen, she doesn't look, Ross, can you believe you had a baby 27 years ago?
No.
Time flies.
How did that even happen?
Right? I know. Well, get on over here. We got to get to the couch and get you to chatting with us this morning. You'll be seeing that too. JoJo will be 27 before you know it, let alone Lola.
I already feel, and I feel that way with my oldest Addie as well.
Yes. All right. Well, we got to talk about Dancing with the Stars. It was part one of Disney themed performances last night on Dancing with the Stars. And it was the last tango for one of our favorite TV weather people. Champion and partner Cheryl Burke got low scores for their Pas Doble, and the judges didn't save them. But Sam says he would do it again if asked.
Here's the thing, I go where I'm told to go, so if they ask us back, I'll be back. And, you know, I now feel much more comfortable in sequins, so that's a plus too.
You can always do it live from New York.
Yeah.
Well, let's welcome in Roz and Tracy. I wish we could have gotten video of Sam dancing. You know, he worked so hard at it, but the judges just were not impressed. Tracy, I know you're a big Sam fan. There he is.
Oh, I just adore Sam Champion, and I really hoped he was going to make it much farther in this competition, but hey, he gave it the old college try, I guess, and with Cheryl Burke, I mean, she's amazing, but just wasn't enough. Just wasn't enough.
He had lots of support, though, from our GMA family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that each one of the members of the GMA family were coming in these first few weeks to support him and show up for him. He has such a good attitude, though, about it. And let me tell you something. Like he says, this is not easy. And just the amount of hours he was putting in to get as far as he didn't go out first.
He did not go out first.
He did not go out first.
Although some would say if you're not first, you're last, but he's not last.
He's first in our hearts.
Yeah, and now that laugh, I love that Sam Champion laugh. It's the greatest laugh.
It is indeed. Well, some other moments now from last night. Selma Blair, the actress, performing this fun and upbeat quick step to the Muppet Show theme. It included a somersault, jumping over a sofa, and rolling around on the floor. She never ceases to amaze me with her resilience and her athleticism in the face of just, you know, the most challenging diagnosis and progression of multiple sclerosis. She's just so inspiring.
She really is, and I think I'm gonna make a little prediction. I bet you she makes it to the top 3.
Oh, she's in my top 3.
Is she yours? What about you, Roz?
No, I agree. I agree with everything that you guys are saying. so inspirational, and yes, she's going to go far.
Yeah, she's definitely, and she's every dance, she's nailing it.
She really is.
And like you said, I mean, like last week didn't see last night because I actually fell asleep, but I watched it live last week, and right after she performed, she grabbed her beautiful, cane, to walk on. So it just goes to show you that she is still battling, she's still dealing with it.
Very much.
But yet, if you look at her performance, you would never know it.
So impressive.
Yeah. Okay, we got to talk about him. I think he's somebody. No, he's Roz's favorite, I think, Wayne Brady, right?
Oh, yeah, Wayne Brady.
Yeah, the actor and the singer. He was focused on tightening up his footwork for last night's performance. So I guess that must have been some feedback from the judges. But again, to me, he's another one that every week he tends to be one of the high scorers.
I think he's your winner.
Yeah.
He is, I mean, his movements, everything is just so spot on. He's just so tight.
Yep, and which was exactly his goal. I'm watching closely now, and I mean, it's pretty flawless, you guys.
So that's when you know the person is good, because when you can't tell who's the professional dancer and who's the celeb, you're like, okay, they're good. All right, well, next week is part 2 of the Disney themed performances.
And you can stream it on Disney Plus next Monday.
All right, well, when it comes to fast food, some restaurants are faster than others when it comes through drive-thrus.
A lot of people interested in these numbers here. Taco Bell has the fastest drive-thru line, according to a new report in QSR magazine. Most customers get their food in well under 4 minutes.
Huh.
Chick-fil-A has the slowest, but for good
it.
reason. It's also the busiest. So many cars in line.
You disagree?
Who said
Totally
no?
disagree.
You think Chick-fil-A is fast?
The Chick-fil-A I go to, they are, and my pleasure, I mean, they're like on it. They're so good. Yeah.
I was thinking the study's right. So I go to the one in the South Loop area, and it's a relatively new one. And I feel bad because I don't know the owner, but it's a minority-owned Chick-fil-A, and I'm really kind of rooting for them. But I have given feedback like, we've got to get this a little faster.
Well, you know what, though? People seem to love the food so much, they don't mind a wait. They gave the chain a 93% satisfaction rating for speed specifically. Go figure.
Wow. Well, the fast food restaurant with the second slowest drive-thru, I agree with this one too. McDonald's.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm loving it. But customers still give it high marks for filling orders accurately.
Which is so important.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
When you've waited in line for your order, right? And then you get it. And let's say you did get in a slow drive-thru, then you get it and it's not right. Oh. Now, my question to you ladies, because I have a thought on this. Do you go on and deal with it and take it home? Or do you circle back and get the right order? Because a lot of times you may not realize it if you don't check the bag right at the window.
Well, that's the thing, right?
It's usually too late.
It depends upon how far you've gone before you realize it's not right.
So my daughter ended up with a wrong order the other day. She got a hamburger, but they put cheese on it, and she's dairy allergic.
So what'd you do?
She ended up with nothing.
You didn't go back?
Well, she was with her dad, but they had already left. And so she had no food.
Well, she might like Auntie Val, because guess what I did?
Drove right back around.
We are going back. I have gotten home, you guys, and realized the order was messed up and gotten in my car and gone back.
Yeah.
I have.
I've done that too.
Yeah. Now, not all the time, but I have been. It's like if I have the time and it's severely wrong, I'm going back. I can't, I'm like, no, this is like I have my mindset on it. I want it right.
So many people just don't have the time.
I know.
ABC 7 Eyewitness News continues to stream after the break. We are back in just 90 seconds.
Good morning to you. Well, right now we're holding on to some sunshine. We've had a magnificent sunrise this morning too. However, this is what's coming our way. So as we get into the afternoon, rain is going to start to develop. It will become fairly widespread. It is going to become rather windy around the area today as well. Overnight tonight, there may even be a few rumbles of thunder, and coming along with some of those thunderstorms could be some strong gusty winds. As we look at how much rain is coming our way between what we get today and tomorrow, you can see by the time it's done tomorrow, some of us could come in with 3/4, maybe even an inch of rain, and it is really much needed rain too. What we don't need are all these traffic problems, and Roz is here to talk about them.
Unfortunately, we've got some new ones to tell you about, but we're also watching some old ones, and the travel times are increasing. Now we're looking at travel times ranging between 1 hour and 1 hour and 15 minutes on the inbound Kennedy between the tri-state and downtown. Now, we've had a couple of tollway issues on 88. Now we've got a new crash westbound right around Eola Road. We're still looking at heavy traffic eastbound. Earlier crash at Route 59, earlier crash around Naperville Road. So it's just going to be a really slow morning on the Reagan Tollway. Indiana, not much change there. Northbound I-65, we still have 2 lanes closed with vehicle fire, a semi-fire cleanup. And here's the snapshot from the INDOT website. It's backed up pretty much from US 30 to Ridge. Tanya and Val.
All right, Roz, thank you. Well, the city of Evanston has a new police chief this morning. She took the oath of office last night, and Shanita Stewart previously served as the deputy chief of police in East Dundee, Indiana. Stewart grew up in Evanston, graduating from Evanston Township High School there. And she joins us now live this morning. Good morning to you, Chief. How does that sound?
It sounds pretty good. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. Congratulations to you for making history. How are you feeling this morning heading into your first full day on the job as Chief Stewart?
I feel great, wonderful. Got in early to see staff. I'm extremely excited of this opportunity of a lifetime.
Last night we heard from your mother about your new position, and let's take a listen first. Looks like we might be having a little bit of audio issues, but you were there, and I'm sure she expressed her excitement and how proud she is of you. How did that make you feel to be able to share that moment, not only with your mom, but you had a ton of supporters there last night?
Very excited. My mom is my biggest fan, my best friend, and personal hype woman. So it was great. Great.
Oh, okay. And, you know, last night that we also heard more from people and you as well about the things that you want to do in the community. Let's talk about that, because we do know for those with crime concerns in Evanston, they have some pretty valid issues. So what would you say to them this morning?
You know, we're going to continue to deploy crime prevention strategies such as data-driven policing, try to identify patterns of crime, and we're going to attempt to proactively deter and prevent crime. And so we are working. It is my first day full on the job. And then that's one of the main things I got to address.
Have you always wanted to serve? Have you always wanted to go in law enforcement?
You know, I generally care about people. So this is a rewarding job opportunity, especially here in the city of Evanston. I'll be working directly with the city manager, Luke Stowe, and it's very exciting. But yes, serving others has always been a passion for me.
And I hear that this runs in your family too. Your sister's a commander?
She is. She's a commander of the Oak Park Police Department, Shanella Stewart, and yes, it's wonderful.
Well, look at that. And tell us who we're seeing in some of these pictures here. I believe that was your sister we were just seeing, right?
Yes. And the next there is one of my really good best friends, Larry Martin, mentor of mine, is from Lincolnwood. Really close friend and a family member for us.
You've got to kind of be pinching yourself to be sitting here and waking up this morning as the first female. I mean, you're the top cop there in Evanston. And we're not talking about, you know, a small city. You're the top cop in Evanston. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, but I gotta say, it's a great team here in Evanston, from the city team to the men and women of this organization, sworn and civilian staff. I'm excited just to be part of their team and work jointly with them and this community.
Anything you want to say to folks in Evanston who are watching this morning as you take on this task, just to let them know a little bit more about you and your plans for the city?
Yeah, like I said, and I've said previously, I want to address the staffing issue here in the city of Evanston, employee morale, and building that partnership with the community, and every day building back that trust and legitimacy. So that's what I'm excited about. That's what I gotta start doing, and I'm gonna get to work.
I already see some pictures up in your office, so it looks like you've started to decorate and make it home there.
I moved in, and I always got to have a picture of my mom, or she'll let me know if I don't have a picture of her present. So.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised. Now, is Mama Stewart coming to visit you today at work for the first day?
She's not, but I'll see her soon. We always FaceTime, so I'll probably see her as soon as this interview is over. She'll probably tell me how I did.
Okay, great. Well, please give her our best, and congratulations to you and all the best to you on your first day and in the days to come.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much, Chief Shanita Stewart, new Evanston Police Chief. Tanya is going to join me after the break with more news. Stay with us. We're back in 90 seconds. Well, as we honor Hispanic Heritage Month, we're taking a closer look at one Chicago neighborhood that many call the center of the Mexican community in the city.
As Michelle Gallardo reports this morning, the neighborhood's roots are deep, even though it is actually named after a city in Central Europe.
Pilsen. From its street vendors to its murals, to its Mexican Independence Day celebrations, this is a neighborhood that screams Mexico loud and proud, but it wasn't always this way.
Those communities in the early 20th century are predominantly Eastern and Southern European.
Pilsen is, in fact, named after a city in the Czech Republic. It is not until the 1960s the neighborhood's transformation begins in earnest. By 1970, Pilsen's Mexican population had more than doubled.
The neighborhood just whooped like that changed. And there was white flight. It was happening in cities all across the country.
Enter Anita Villarreal, a forward-thinking Mexican-American activist and real estate agent. Historian Mike Amezcua delved into Villarreal's story in his recently published book, Making Mexican Chicago.
Anita taps into that kind of hustle, that dream, and begins to pitch storefronts and buildings to Mexican immigrants. Hey, wouldn't you like to build your fruteria right here on 26th Street? And alongside that kind of pitch, she also pitched housing opportunities to large Mexican families.
At 65, muralist Salvador Vega belongs to one of those first Mexican families to move into Pilsen. Today, the artist is one of many who uses the neighborhood as his canvas, telling its story through art, the good and the bad.
I am born and raised in this neighborhood, since I figure my pueblo is 18th Street, Chicago.
Art, whether on its streets or inside Harrison Park's National Museum of Mexican Art, is front and center in the telling of Pilsen's story, paying homage to its heritage, but also to the Chicano movement of the 1970s, which largely played out here.
We wanted to be in Pilsen, even though we knew It was not the oldest, it wasn't the largest, but this is the center of the Mexican community in Chicago.
And yet, the tug-of-war to keep it that way is one that has been going on for decades, as Pilsen today, while still heavily Mexican, has been extensively gentrified. Hip restaurants and cafes taking over from taquerias and panaderias as a more affluent population seeks out its prime location within a stone's throw of downtown. So is Mexican Pilsen set to go the way of Czech Pilsen?
I think it'll still stay a majority Mexicano community, but it won't be an immigrant community anymore. That would change. That would change. And that's kind of sad.
In Pilsen, I'm Michelle Gallardo, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
We were just talking about how lovely, yes, nice piece, Michelle, and thank you for taking us on a tour of Pilsen.
One of our favorite
neighborhoods. Yes, I named all the restaurants that we must hit, or you must hit, coming up soon. All right, we're back after a short break.
Eyewitness News streaming at 7 continues after a break.
You know, we love this around here. Today is International Day of the Girl.
It is also the official Chicago Day of the Girl, so the entire city gets to celebrate. The Girls Like Me Project will host its 11th annual event today in the South Shore neighborhood. This video is from last year's event. This year's theme is I Belong. The focus is on Black girls ages 13 to 18, and the goal is to support and protect them as they pursue their dreams. Val, I'd love to hear more about this because I loved when you said this earlier during our show on the air. You said, I used to tell my daughter, you told your daughter all the time, girl, you belong.
Yeah, Zoe.
What was the message that you wanted to convey behind that?
You know what? I saw her walking into school, and she went to a PWI here in Chicago, a predominantly white institution, and I didn't see her fall back. I saw her go, and like she belongs. I remember every day I'm like, you belong, and you were showing me that we all belong. And so to all the girls out there, we belong.
You belong.
Do it. All right. Thanks for joining
message.
us. Yes.
Thank you, Val. I'm going to have updates for you now, and Tracy Butler and Roz are going to have your weather and traffic as well during Good Morning America. We're going to hear from them in just a moment. Thank you so much for watching us here.
That's right. Thank you. And guess what? We're going to see you this time, this place, tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. as we stream out live and local for you.
This has been Eyewitness News streaming at 7. Now, an update from ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Good morning. It's 7:56. I'm Tanya Babich. In just a few hours from now, Chicago Police Superintendent David Brown will address crime in the city. This comes as a suspect in a weekend murder in the Loop heads back to bond court. 23-year-old Devontrell Turnipseed is charged with killing a 24-year-old man early Sunday outside a nightclub on Wells. Police say the two, who were working security at the club, got into an argument when the shots were fired. The 38-year-old victim died later at the hospital. Superintendent Brown will meet with reporters at 11:30 this morning. Stay with us. We'll check on weather and traffic up next.
Good morning. So right now, you look outside, you're seeing some sunshine. Clouds are on the way. This is on the way too. This is rain that's going to be moving in our direction here to set up for the afternoon. So our morning commute dry, afternoon commute not so much. Right now, temperatures 56 at O'Hare. It's 60 degrees out at Midway. Highs today, early afternoon, will reach the 70s. Rain comes in, the temperatures will be falling back into the 60s. Roz?
No relief in sight in northwest Indiana. Northbound I-65, we still only have one lane open just before Ridge. Cleanup from an earlier semi-fire hits the brakes at US 30, and state police do not know when they're going to be completed with that cleanup. 1 hour to 1 hour 15 average travel times. We had a crash on 88 eastbound near Eola. They just cleared it, but take a look at these tollway cameras. Northbound on the tri-state, a crash at Ogden causing about a 1 mile delay.